So we got a very, very interesting report that had come out last week. If you guys remember, Ashton Jeanty's stance was something that we kind of talked about. I believe it was Thursday or Friday. We talked a little bit about this, but basically I had spoken to someone that mentioned it to me and I had not previously noticed, right? But Ashton Jeanty, as he got to the Raiders started to work with this guy in terms of that pre-snap stance. Right, if you guys don't know about Ashton Jeanty's stance, it's gone viral multiple times over the last 12 months. Basically, the guy stands straight up. And most running backs do not stand that way, right? Most running backs get lower. Usually you're going to put your legs on your knees as well, right? You don't want to lean one way or the other, or one foot's a little bit further back than the other. NFL teams kind of catch on to those things pretty quickly. But the Raiders have been working with Ashton Jeanty to really fine-tune his stance and to essentially get lower. And Ashton Jeanty was asked about this himself over the weekend, and he had some interesting things to say. Check this out, and then we'll talk about this on the other side.
Gonna change it, but I don't like what I'm seeing.
Sometimes you gotta, go with the flow. What's crazy is, man, Chip Kelly, he comes to me the first day of rookie minicamp. He like, you play basketball? Like, you ever play basketball? I'm like, yeah, I played basketball. I could dunk, all that. He's like, okay. He was like, show me how you would guard me. And he acting like he holding the ball.
Let's do this, get up.
He like, show me how you would guard me. He holding the ball. Act like you holding the ball.
Okay, got it, yeah.
Then I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, that's exactly why you got to be down in your running back stance.
No, you were so convicted.
I was,
and
but.
And then he won? Just like that? That's all it took?
He won for now. I'm going to try to persuade him one day. I gotta earn my stripes, make some plays first, but I don't think it's gonna be there.
So there you guys have it, right? Ashton Jeanty is basically letting it be known that it was Chip Kelly that had basically wanted him to switch that stance up. Pretty much from the first day he came into the building, Chip Kelly wanted Ashton Jeanty to change that stance. And one of the reasons why Chip Kelly, or one of the examples he kind of utilized was, hey, have you played basketball before? Ashton Jeanty says yes. Chip Kelly says, let me see your defensive stance. And Ashton Jeanty gets low. And he shows him his defensive stance. And Chip Kelly says, there you go, right? And that's a great example of we need you to change your stance up a little bit. But I think, just kind of taking a step back, I think it's important to recognize that it's not something that we should overlook, right? The stance aspect of things, it's a big deal, however you kind of look at it, right? In college, things are a little bit slower. So if a running back's one step slow, it's not a big deal, right? He'll be able to kind of make up for it. But in the NFL, if you're one step slow, the timing's going to be off. The offensive lineman may double and one guy may climb. And then because you haven't gotten the ball or you're one step slow, the backside 3 tech makes the play, right? Or the front side 4-eye or whatever it is, right? In the NFL, everything's so timing based. And especially given that Chip Kelly's going to be running a lot of outside and wide zone runs. The quarterback, when he gets the football, he's going to have to take 4, 5, 6 steps to get Ashton Jeanty the football. And this guy has to get out there and take the ball. And I think Chip Kelly also kind of recognizes this. And that's why they're essentially getting this guy to change the stance up. Now, is it a big deal? Probably not. I think it's a better storyline to talk about than actually any sort of impact, right? I don't think Ashton Jeanty won't be able to change his stance. In fact, he's had a lot of runs where he does, kind of get lower and he puts his hands on his knees. If you watch enough tape, you definitely do see that as well. But it is interesting, and I did want to just give you guys that update. But we have so many other things that are kind of coming out, which I want to kind of get into. So if you guys don't know this, the NFL schedule obviously dropped this past week. We talked about it the day that it dropped, but more than the actual schedule dropping, Sharp Football Analysis, very, very, very solid analytics when it comes to football, advanced analytics specifically. They did some numbers, and they're basically saying something interesting when it comes to the Raiders. They're saying that no team got hit harder by the 2025 NFL schedule than the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders have the fewest rest edge games, the most rest disadvantage games, and then a net 19 days of rest, which is worse than the NFL. Also, they put it in there, early road games, short weeks, brutal setup. So Sharp Football Analyst is here, basically is saying this. He's saying that the Las Vegas Raiders, when it comes to rest, relative to the team that they're playing, the Raiders will be at a disadvantage multiple times this season. they'll have 6 games when you're just looking at it head to head against the other teams, where the other team will have 1 extra day of rest and the Raiders will have 1 less day of rest. And that is actually a big deal, believe it or not. That's a huge difference, right? Having that 1 extra day. Think about when it's like week 15 of the regular season, right? Maxx Crosby's elbow is going to be hurting. Colton Miller's knee might be hurting. Geno Smith might have like a left pinky injury, right? Or whatever it is. 1 extra day makes a big difference in terms of healing, especially given, maybe you play week 14 and you're a little banged up and now week 15 is coming around. 1 extra day does make a massive difference, right? When you're in that type of schedule, right? The NFL schedule is brutal. It makes a massive difference, and the Las Vegas Raiders will have 6 games where they're going to be at a disadvantage. And they're only going to have 1 game where they'll actually be the team that has the advantage. Now, all the other games, right? So 7 games right there. The other games, right? The other 10 games is basically going to be an even split among how many days, you have in between games, right? So the Raiders play 1 week on Sunday. They'll play the next game on Sunday, and it'll be the same thing with the teams that they're playing as well, right? It'll essentially be Sunday and Sunday, or it might be like a Monday, Sunday thing, but the team will play the same schedule. So 10 times the Raiders have an even matchup, but 6 times they'll be at a disadvantage, which definitely sucks if you guys ask me, and a total of net 19 days of rest. So this is coming out from the advanced stats perspective. When we broke down the schedule, I didn't feel like the actual opponents were playing this season. And that too, you got to factor in like the home games, the away games. I didn't feel like the Raiders had a super tough schedule. In fact, I thought the Raiders schedule was fairly, it was a fairly good schedule for the Raiders. Now, I did feel like we had a lot of away games early on in the season, right? Like the first 7 games, I think 4 are away games. And I think there's like multiple back-to-back like East Coast games, right? Like go to the East Coast, come back, play at home, go to the East Coast again, come home, and then you go once again, right? And I did think the Raiders had a lot of those games, but I felt like a lot of those games were winnable games. And now when you're kind of diving into it a little bit deeper, Sharp Football Analysis is putting it out there that the Raiders have one of the toughest schedules from an advanced analytics perspective. And we'll see what actually ends up happening. If the Raiders are a Super Bowl contending team, none of this shit realistically matters, right? If you're a good football team, you're going to win games. If you're a good football team, you're going to beat the teams that you should beat. So we'll see if the Raiders can actually go out there and have success this season. Something tells me they will, regardless of the actual schedule and the rest and all of those different elements. But it will be interesting because the Raiders do have to stay healthy this season, which is something we've struggled with last season. Christian Wilkins, Malcolm Koonce, Maxx Crosby, right? 3 of our 4 starting defensive tackles last year missed most of the season last year. So we need these guys to be healthy. We need them to be good to go. And then hopefully the younger guys, right? The explosive guys on offense, hopefully they're able to carry the offense. We'll see what ends up happening. But I did want to talk about this a little bit. We have a couple more updates that I do want to just quickly get into. You have this one here, which is kind of interesting, but Raiders quarterback Geno Smith, a wide receiver Jacoby Myers, and the other wide receiver we have, Dante Thornton Jr. trained with the Alabama football wide receivers this weekend. And you can see the actual image here as well. Geno Smith, Jacoby Myers. Obviously, they're there working with the Alabama wide receivers. If you guys don't know this, Alabama has one of the best wide receivers in probably coming out this year. He may have been the number 2 overall pick. He would have potentially went over Travis Hunter. But it's interesting because you got Geno Smith, Jacoby Myers, and Dante Thornton. You got those 3 guys working out. Right, not Trey Tucker, not Jack Bech or one of these other guys. Although Jack Bech was busy this past weekend, he had the rookie premiere thing that's kind of going on. But regardless, it is interesting nonetheless that you got these 3 guys actually putting that work in. I truly believe that the amount of work you put into the offseason is going to directly translate to the regular season. If you want to have success, it starts like literally as early as the beginning of May. Right, from the time rookie camp starts, from the time, you kind of start that workout process to, OTAs, which is kind of coming up here soon as well. OTAs comes up, the rookie minicamp portion. You can start getting into the building and working with coaches. All of that stuff matters, man. Brock Bowers obviously was not in the building because of the fact that he obviously was going back to school. He wanted to finish and get that degree. He wasn't in the building as much, so he will be a little bit behind than some of the other guys that were actually in the building. Now, it's not going to be a huge deal, right? He's a tight end. You know, the route tree doesn't change, right? He'll just have to learn the verbiage. But some of these guys will have that advantage because they're going to be a little bit further ahead. I think an even bigger advantage you have as a wide receiver specifically is working with your quarterback. You know, the timing element of it is huge. You know, when you run a dagger concept, for example, one of the wide receivers is going to essentially have a 15-yard in route, right, called the dig route. And that 15 yards, how fast you can get from 0 to 15, how fast you can hit that in-breaking route, how fast when you hit that in-breaking route, you go from 0 to 100 again, that's going to change based off the wide receiver that's kind of out there, right? Jacoby Myers might be a little bit slower than Trey Tucker, but he might be a little bit sharper than Dante Thornton Jr., right? So working with your quarterback and the timing element of it is a huge deal, right? And we're going to see the Raiders struggle potentially early on in the process. And then hopefully they continue to kind of improve as time kind of goes on. But I love the fact that the rookie wide receiver Dante Thornton Jr. is out there as well. To me, this is going to make the Raiders so much better, at least with these three guys, right? And I do like the fact that they're working with some of the college guys as well. Really, really, really solid if you guys ask me. We got two things left that I kind of want to talk about. This first one is just announcing the actual dates. August 7th, man, is the first freaking day that we're going to see some football. You know, it's crazy because every single year, I'm always so excited for preseason every single year. Like, you know, we go through all of the offseason, we hit training camp, we start to hear some storylines, we start to hear some of the camp reports, right? Some, you know, player X is standing out, player Z is maybe not as good. And then August 7th is that first game, and you get to actually see some football out there. To me, it's the best time of the year, right? Is that first preseason game. Most of the time, we don't even actually see anything happen, right? Most of the time, guys don't even play. But regardless, I'm excited for it. We'll get to see some of the younger guys no matter what. But we'll see what Pete Carroll kind of does when it comes to the strategy of the preseason. August 7th is the first game. August 16th is going to be the game against the 49ers. August 23rd against the Cardinals will be the final game. And also do note, August 7th, that first game is at 7 p.m. So I'm not sure if that's a primetime game. It's preseason, right? It doesn't really matter. But regardless, I'm excited. I'm fired up for this. And then finally, let's just wrap this up. The Las Vegas Raiders have lost one of their free agents. Now, I don't think we're going to probably bring back John Jenkins anyways. But he has officially agreed with the Baltimore Ravens, and he will officially not be back with the Raiders. If you guys remember, or if you guys don't know this, let's just throw this out there. John Jenkins was a huge leader for the Las Vegas Raiders among that defensive line. The guys love this guy, right? Maxx Crosby loved John Jenkins. Malcolm Koonce, Tyree Wilson, Robbie Leonard has spoken multiple times about what John Jenkins kind of brings. And, you know, John Jenkins is not Jalen Carter, right? He's not going to get 12 sacks in a season. But what John Jenkins does do is he does all the little things you need from your defensive lineman. And for the Raiders, he was a guy that played a lot of snaps last year, right? Even the year before that, he played a ton of snaps. And he's just one of those guys that you need to have someone to play that role. So we'll see who kind of does that for the Raiders as we go forward. Remember, Christian Wilkins, Adam Butler aren't the same type of mold that John Jenkins is, right? Butler, Christian Wilkins, they move a little bit better. They're a little bit slimmer. They're a little bit higher in their stance. Although I think Christian Wilkins is a really good run defender as well. Butler, maybe not as good. I do think the Las Vegas Raiders are in a really good spot with the defensive line. I don't think it's huge that we lose out on John Jenkins, but I did want to report it that, and I shouldn't even say we lose out, right? Because we don't really know if John Spytek was even interested in John Jenkins. We don't know if a contract was even offered. Jenkins like 35, 36 years old, so he's probably towards the end of his career, but it is what it is. The Raiders will not be bringing this guy back. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. I still do not feel 100% good. I've had the craziest sickness over the last like 5 days. I never get sick, man, and this one definitely got me. So, you know, fish are getting better. Have started working a little bit on getting the background set up. I got to get the wall over here fixed. So once we get that fixed, hopefully I can get everything set up properly. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. How are you guys feeling about the Raiders? How do you guys feel about this team, just kind of generally speaking? Do you guys actually think we're a playoff caliber team? Could we actually compete for a Super Bowl this year? You know, I should wrap this up with just one final thought. You know, can Geno Smith win a Super Bowl? You know, that was something that I had once mentioned on Twitter a couple weeks back. And people are saying that, hey, you know, you're talking about a Super Bowl, just get into the playoffs first. You know, let's just hope Geno can get us to the playoffs first. And I'll be the first to tell you guys, man, playoffs do not matter. Getting, you know, as a team, you should not say, hey, I want to get into the playoffs, right? To me, you want to win a Super Bowl, right? I would rather lose for 20 years and have a Super Bowl win than be in the playoffs for 21 years and have no Super Bowl, right? That's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think, man. What do you guys think in the comments below? Are the Raiders a Super Bowl contender this year? Thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another video.